In this episode of Getting Geeky with Game Relief, I sit down with two rock band brothers to talk all about their latest game. It's a fun one, so hang on until after Kickstarter Corner and the such to hear all about it. This episode is proudly powered by INSURED, the survival-based board game. For 3 to 8 players, do you have what it takes to survive? Would you strategize and manipulate to win? Or would you leave it all up to fate? Find out in INSURED, the survival-based board game that'll be on Kickstarter through Thursday, the 21st of February. So you don't want to dilly-dally, as it'll only be on there through 9 a.m. Mountain Standard Time today, so less than 18 hours at the time of this recording. Not convinced still? Well, go give our chat a listen in their update entitled Podcast. It's reached its funding goal, so definitely check out INSURED, the survival-based board game, as soon as you possibly can. This episode is also proudly being powered by 9 Lives, a card game about cats. It's a card game for cat lovers, cat haters, and cat neutral people. Even dog people will love it too. They reached their funding goal and will be on Kickstarter through Sunday, the 3rd of March. More to come during Kickstarter Corner. This episode of Getting Geeky with Game Relief is proudly being powered by Braden's World, makers of Heroes of History card game. Sam, the game's creator, was on with us a few episodes back, episode 235, Wishlist Wednesday on Saturday, Heroes of History Take 2, to talk about this game, and after we got our copy, we are really excited to get started. It's the only game on the market where you can have Norse heroes fight American generals in a Minotaur's lair, which I can't wait to try out. The new set of Glorious Greeks and Vicious Vikings is out now. For listeners of the show, you can get a 10% rebate on the game by emailing sam@bradensworld.com. We'll leave the email link in the show notes with a copy of your receipt, and he'll get you 10% off. And for the first 10 listeners to leave an Amazon or eBay review, he'll also send you an extra 5% rebate. Visit bradensworld.com and learn more about how you can order Iron Flank versus Dragon Boat Raiders, as well as the beginner set Midnight Riders versus Echoes of the Plains. Heroes of History. Do you have what it takes to be a hero?
Getting Geeky with Gamer Leaf, the podcast in which one man strives to level up his geekhood and helping you do the same, one battle at a time. Now, let's get geeky with Gamer Leaf.
Welcome to Getting Geeky with Game Relief. I'm so glad you could make it. We're going to be changing the format a bit around here, where we tell you about the episode sponsors somewhere within the episode, instead of all up front. So look for these Easter eggs coming up. If you caught our last episode, in which I had Jack Sporner on to talk all about Dungeons of Infinity, I'd like to apologize for the audio differences between him and us. I will be doing my best to get that all fixed for y'all this weekend. Next weekend at the very latest. We're going to be doing some awesome things coming up in the very near future. So we decided to throw together a survey to get your help. There's an awesome giveaway tied to this, so hang on until after the interview to hear all about this. Reminder, the interview is after Kickstarter Corner. So let's see what is hiding for us amidst the jungle of Kickstarter within our very own Kickstarter Corner.
What is this place? What is it doing here in the Leaves computer? Oh, it's Kickstarter Corner with the Leaves.
Did you catch the episode 250 Wishlist Wednesday on Saturday entitled Head Chef? Well, what are you waiting for? Go back and listen. We'll wait for you. I love chatting with Peter all about Head Chef, the tabletop card game of food, fame, and fun. In this tabletop card game for 1 to 4 hungry players, you will cook food, earn fame, and become, you guessed it, Head Chef. There's less than 36 hours to back it, and they're oh so close, $47 to be exact. So let's make it happen. Check out the head chef, and back up before Friday, the 22nd of February at 3:58 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. All of this talk about catching up on previous episodes that you might have missed. So while you're busy getting your Getting Geeky with Gamer Leaf fix on, make sure you go listen to episode 252, Wishlist Wednesday on Saturday, in the Hall of the Mountain King, to hear all about the inspiration behind this game the Leafs are excited to play. It's got a bit of everything in it, such as territory denial, cascading production, magic, and muscle. It's an innovative game for 2 to 5 trolls that is easy to learn, but hides rich depth, plus very deluxe edition. So definitely go ahead and check out In the Hall of the Mountain King. That's only on Kickstarter for a short time. I want to say 7 more days. So run over and check that out and back it if you like what you see. What games did you grow up loving and playing? I was a big War of the Card Game fan. Analog Game Studios has done it again with Duels of Cartisora, 2-player 6 warriors. If you haven't listened to my sit down with the publisher and designer of this game, jump on over and give it a shot. It's easily searchable by going to their update entitled Getting Geeky with Gamer Leaf Cartisora interview. Go ahead and pause this show, we'll wait for you. What do you think? I agree. It was a fun interview, and the game also sounds like it'd be quite fun. It's an asymmetrical War of the Card game. That's the kind of feeling or vibe I got as I sat down with Richard and Jeremy to talk all about it. As I previously stated, I loved War growing up, so I can only imagine. So let's help them make this rendition of the classic a reality by backing Duels of Cartisora, 2-player 6 warriors, that'll be on Kickstarter through Sunday, the 10th of March. I remember wanting to be a radio show host when I was a teenager. That was able to come true thanks to this whole podcast thing. I think I probably wanted to be a movie star or director as well. That will kind of be true thanks to all the wonderful support I've gotten from fans like you on our Kickstarter thus far. But you know what? Looks like it'll give me even more of an experience like this. I didn't think so. I didn't either until a few days ago. That's a wrap. The Game of Filmmaking Frenzy. Recently launched on Kickstarter. It's a card drafting, dice rolling, movie making board game with over 50,000 unique film combinations. So make movies while playing a game? You've got my attention, Adam. Go ahead and check out and back this campaign on Kickstarter before Thursday the 21st of March. We teased about this one at the first of the episode, and notice you haven't been over to check out the campaign yet. So go ahead and check out 9 Lives, a card game about cats. It's a card game for cat lovers, cat haters, and cat neutral people. Even dog people will love it. Even backed by Gamer Leaf, if you can believe that. I sat down with Ice, one of the designers, to talk all about it. You can find that interview in their update entitled, We Are Nearly 100%. But not to fret, they've since reached their funding goal. Check out 9 Lives and some awesome and interesting stretch goals before Sunday the 3rd of March.
Now, let's get geeky with Gamer Leaf.
Are you tired of tabletop games that take hours to play? Are you buried in too many game pieces? Are you sick of obnoxiously long rule books that are impossible to wrap your brain around? Then you need Shipumba. It's fun for 2 to 4 players of all ages. It's easy to learn, and every game's different. And the quick gameplay will leave enough time to pet your cat. Forget those other more expensive games. Shipumba's the affordable way to have a great time. But that's not all. It also doubles as a neat hat, a hair straightener. It goes great with guac, a Wi-Fi extender, and it'll give you superhuman strength. I'm Wooly Meadows. Shipumba. It's an explosively good time.
One Day West Games not responsible for guac stains on your tiles. No sheep were harmed in the making of this commercial. Operators are standing by.
Did that sound familiar to you guys? It didn't to me neither, but this is a story of Sheep Boom Ba and all the great things that you can use the game or the game box from what it sounds like. And today we're lucky enough to have on the creators and masterminds from One Day West Games. Is that correct? Is that how you guys fall in line with Sheep Boom Ba?
Yeah. It's a Sheep Boom Ba.
Awesome. And what are your names? I know I just barely heard you guys on Richard's show. I should remember this.
Oh, that's fine. I'm Ryan Craig. And I'm his brother. I'm Bob Craig.
So why not something Craig Games? What's the deal with One Day West Games?
So One Day West Games came from, we have a band called One Day West. So we started that years ago. So when we decided to start a game company, we figured we already own the name One Day West. Why not just tack games onto it and have One Day West Games?
Oh, there you go. Awesome. What kind of music do you guys play?
We play rock.
Yeah, we write a lot of our own like original music. So it's a rock genre, I guess, that we're in.
Awesome. Are you still doing that these days?
Try to. Our guitar player actually has a son now and moved out to Jersey. So he's a little bit further away. So practices are a little few and far between.
We do a lot of this recording now. So we have our first album out, but now we just recorded like an EP a few years back. So we're just working on bringing that up.
Oh, wow. So that's exciting. So do you do that and game design full time?
No, game design is also, it's just another hobby that we have. It's we have our full-time job that we do. We're landscapers and we work together in a family-run business.
Okay, yeah, I vaguely remember that from your first episode that I heard you on We're Not Wizards quite some time ago. And then, like I said, I heard you on recently. And it sounds like you also collect obscure and old games, maybe? Am I right?
We do, yes. That's actually what kind of propelled us into gaming. We have quite an extensive list of all the older like retro games. So our buddy a while ago introduced us to the original Fireball Island, and that kind of lit the match to look for more games in that whole era. So that 80s and 90s era kind of really propelled us. So yeah, we would always collect them, and whenever we're out, yard sales, flea markets, wherever
they seem to find us.
It's that's what we're telling Richard. Yeah, they find us. So my basement is now packed with tons and tons of games.
Oh boy, there you go. I know when you're talking to Richard, you guys talked of having a Fireball Island day. Has that happened yet?
Not yet. No. Hopefully soon, though. Yeah, I've said definitely
at the end of the month. I think we're shooting for that.
Yeah,
last we chat. So we want to kick it off with the original, because actually Ryan has the original one still. So and then roll into the new one, which he backed on Kickstarter. So he has that with all the expansions on it too. So
yeah, really looking forward to it.
Well, there you go. Yeah, we didn't necessarily bust out the expansions, but we brought the new one to the table a while back ago and played it a little bit.
Have you played the original one before?
No, I hadn't even heard about it until, I don't know, a little bit before the Kickstarter came out.
Okay. How'd you feel about the new one?
I thought it was pretty cool. I got to learn a little bit better, but it was pretty fun. And the kids, we actually, for the podcast, we actually reviewed it. The kids really liked it, knocking people down. My 5-year-old daughter didn't care about it because it was like more of a take that, in her opinion. I forget exactly what she said.
Okay.
But yeah, it was pretty cool. So is that what got you in? Somebody introduced you to Fireball Island, or how did you start playing tabletop games?
Yeah, well, it kind of started. So I guess we were younger. We weren't like avid gamers, but we played board games. We had them. So, when our friend introduced us to Fireball Island, it kind of like reawoke, like wow, that's right. This whole like board game thing is pretty cool. So, we were getting together, and then I found a lot more, and then we started getting together just playing like the older like retro games, and then slowly but surely that kind of
evolved into the more modern era games. Like my neighbor introduced us to Catan. Like it never played that before, and my roommate from college, he got into the more heavier games, so he brought like Scythe over, and we got to play that for the first time. It's like, it's wild how just everything evolved, and it's like a big snowball. It started rolling down the hill. It's just, you start playing one, and it's like infectious. You start collecting them, and then it's just
yeah. We only knew like the retro games, and then finally some more modern games were introduced to us, and we loved it. It fell fell in love with the whole board game industry, more and more.
Do you have a preference between retro and what they call hobby games nowadays?
You know what? I really don't, because I still really enjoy the retro. Actually, I'm saying but we really enjoy the retro games. And when we have our game days, which happens a lot, we usually always end up starting with some of the older ones, or at some point in the night, whoever we're with, they're always like, oh, we know we're going to be playing like some kind of older game. We're playing Loop and Louie, or what's like the ridiculous game you're going to break out. So we always kind of mix them in, because it's just it's cool to go back to where it kind of all started.
Like your roots. Yeah.
Awesome. Have you guys heard of or seen anything done by the Angry Video Game Nerd?
Oh yeah.
Actually, we got to meet him at what was it? Too Many Games.
Too Many Games. Yeah.
Yeah. There's a convention really close to us in Oaks, PA, that we go to each year. It's called Too Many Games. It's like a video game, board game crossover event, and he was there.
So his persona is Board James. He's the one.
Yeah, I really enjoy those. My brother introduced me to the board games, and I've watched, I want to say most of them, if not all of them.
Oh, they're fantastic. That's the reason why I have Tornado Rex. After watching his video, I was like, I need Tornado Rex now after watching this.
There you go. Nobody busted out an eye or anything like that, did they, in that?
No, we had our safety goggles on.
Oh yeah, definitely. Safety first around here.
Well, that's good to hear. Word on the street is you have another game that necessarily a tornado won't go through, but it sounds like there's landmines and stuff. Well, before we learn about this new game of exploding sheep and why you made it, I'd like to take a few moments to thank and shout out a few of our episode sponsors. You obviously like games. I think you like food. But let's be honest, sometimes playing games gets in the way of making good food and eating, because we all know how much fun it is to game and how long it takes to make gourmet meals. What if I told you there was a game that fixed these problems? Well, there is. This episode is proudly powered by Turtle Monkey Star Games and their latest game that's currently on Kickstarter, 60-Second Chef. That's right, race against time in this head-to-head cooking challenge. We all know that some members of the gaming group are going to show up late to the table. I'm one of them. With this game, you can make gourmet meals, play a quick game while you wait for us, and never leave your chair. Intrigued? Well, good news for you. We're going to bring the designer or publisher on Getting Geeky with Game Relief. But don't wait for that episode to come out. Rush on over to check out 60-Second Chef on Kickstarter today, as I have it on good authority that they're prolonging the option to get both the base game and expansion for only $25 on day 1 as well as day 2 of the campaign. So don't dilly-dally and back it today. If you missed the special going on right now, don't worry, it's still an awesome game from the looks of it. Back it on Kickstarter before Friday, the 22nd of March, and become a 60-second chef. This episode of Getting Geeky with Game Relief is also powered by Heroes and Treasure, Darkness and Light campaign. The popular Heroes and Treasure family RPG expands with new maps, enemies, and treasures. Play it with kids 4 years old and even teenagers. It's a game we'd like to get to the table when we bring back Rolling with the Leafs. It'll be on Kickstarter through Tuesday, the 12th of March. So, if you want to bring your love of role-playing games to your kids, definitely check out Heroes and Treasure, Darkness and Light campaign. What can you tell us about Sheep Boom Ba?
Yeah, Sheep Boom Ba. It's a 2 to 4 player game. It's basically your sheep have wandered into an active landmine field, and you're trying to guide them back to their barn safely without blowing up. So you're moving onto a field of tiles that are face down, and when your sheep move onto them, you flip them over, and either you're going to find like a safe tile, you're going to find a landmine, or you're going to find a barn, whether it's your barn or another player's barn, and that determines what happens to your sheep. There's also cards within the game too that you play, and that allows you to steal sheep from other players or revive your sheep if they happen to blow up. It's a very fast-paced game. It's definitely like a gateway game. If you're not familiar with gaming, it's really easy to teach. Like I said, you could play it in about 20 minutes or so, even with 4 people. It's just a great, fun, all-around game. I mean, young people could play it, up to adults. That doesn't really matter. It's just a game all around.
Gamers of all levels levels kind of enjoy this game too. We had heavier gamers who like sat down, that they play tested it, and they're like, oh my gosh, this could be a game that I can put on the table. And, some of my friends that aren't gamers, they'll enjoy this because it's kind of like a glimpse of like what the board gaming world is, because you have there is strategy in there, because there's some card play, there's things you can do, there's some certain orders you can take that could propel you to win the game. And so it can show non-gamers what the gaming world's like, and also can keep some of the heavier gamers happy too, because they can still find the strategy within it.
That's pretty cool to hit the best of both worlds. So per se, I sat down to play it with you guys. What's my turn going to look like?
So on your turn, you're allowed 2 actions. Actions is moving a sheep. So you can take your sheep. They all start on a field start tile, which is around the perimeter of the field that you make. And moving a sheep to a field tile and flipping it over is considered an action. So you can do that twice. So moving a sheep, or on your player board, you can move a sheep from your barnyard to your barn. So you're allowed 2 actions, and then there's unlimited card play on your turn. You have 4 cards in your hands at all times, so cards do not count as actions. So you can take your 2 actions, as much card play as you want, and then you draw back up to 4 cards at the end of your turn.
Okay, awesome. And how do you determine who wins? Whoever has the most sheep standing at the end of the game, maybe?
Actually, so there's a lot of ways to score points throughout the game. So you're going to be scoring points immediately for finding either barns if you reveal them, or safe tiles if you reveal them. So it's 1 point for a safe tile, 3 points for finding a barn. And there's a score tracker, like there's a player card sitting in front of you. So the score trackers, you're scoring them immediately for finding the tiles. At the end of the game, if you have sheep of your color in your barn, they're worth 3 points. 2 points if you have any other player sheep in your barn. And there's a barnyard section there, and sheep of either color are worth 1 point. And then you get deducted points if you have any sheep that have blown up in your graveyard. So at the end of the game, you add up all the points accordingly, and like a score tracker, it goes up to like 29 right now. And that the player with the highest score would win.
Okay, awesome. Now, are there a lot of sheep farms there in Pennsylvania, as well as active minefields?
Definitely sheep farms.
To the first question, yes.
Yes, to the first question. There are sheep farms.
Unknown to the second. Sure, some farmers may have parts of their farm booby trapped to prevent some thieves from stealing their sheep.
Right.
Well, there you go. So where'd the inspiration come from throwing in the active minefield then?
Well, I guess it would be almost like, if you're going to play, it's almost like Minesweeper. You're touching on points and seeing what's revealed there, like, on a computer. But also too, like in the game, Ryan and I have very destructive creativity, I guess you would call it. Like if you've seen our first game, Monster Highway, you're building roads and driving your car, but then there's that destructive element. There's a monster moving around, like crushing cars and destroying the roads. So with the sheep game, it was kind of natural. We had this field, and you were like, well, we want to move the sheep onto the field and reveal these tiles. But, what's going to keep the player like on their seat? Like if they flip this over, it's like,
how can we kick it up a notch?
Yeah, it's not going to be like, hey, I just found a bale of hay or some straw. I'm going to feed these sheep. Like that's not going to keep me on the edge of the seat.
What if there's landmines?
What if there was a kaboom?
Yeah. It's just looking like, what can we do to kind of kick it up a notch?
Awesome. Now, during playtesting, was there anything you guys had to scrap because it just wouldn't work for the game?
Yeah, we started this, I guess, about a year and a half ago. In our first iteration of it, there was actually a whole betting aspect where you would place a bet and then reveal whatever your chip was on, and then you would kind of move cards around. It just wasn't working. It was almost kind of confusing, and it didn't create that atmosphere that we wanted playing games like what Monster Highway did. If people aren't familiar with it, it was that kind of take that, the strategy and the chance kind of mixed all together, and we weren't getting the reactions that we wanted, from us playing it and also watching people play it. So we actually just abandoned that whole betting aspect, and then went more into moving onto a tile and revealing and kind of discovering, what's in a field.
Awesome. And so when it comes to Sheep Boom Ball, what would you guys say you're most proud of? I don't know if you have the same answer or if you both have different things you're proud of.
I think it's kind of like I'm really proud of how like the whole game came together. So like I said, like we've stressed before, like play testing the games, like just thinking back from the beginning to like where it's come, like, I mean, I'm really happy with everything in it, from, you know, the artwork that's in it, the components that we decided to use in it. We decided, you know, to upgrade all the components to like the best quality that we could from our manufacturer. But probably my favorite part about it is the player board that you have. It's like a dual layer board. So there's different pockets for each one of the areas, like where your sheep would go. So like if you were to bump your table with playing, if you had kids or something like that, your score tracker, the sheep would stay intact. Any sheep within your barn would stay intact, and the barnyard would stay intact. Nothing would ship around and intermingle with each other. So they would stay put.
Is there magnets, or how do you do that it doesn't move around?
It's a double layer board. So there's indentations within the board. So there's like little pockets. It's almost like if two boards were pressed together and there were indentations within it.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. So it just kind of like keeps everything in check, since there's like, you know, there's, you know, multiple components and within the board, the player board. So that was kind of important to us, because earlier play testing, our card was flat. So if we bumped it, you know, your sheep could go from your barn to your barnyard. You're like, did I have like 3 sheep in my barn and then 1 in the barnyard, or 3 in the barnyard versus 1 in the, the barn? So it was kind of confusing. So once we kind of narrowed that down, again, by play testing over and over again, you definitely get the work the bugs out.
Well, that's pretty good. What about yourself? What are you most proud of?
I think I'm pretty proud about how we were able to give the players more options in this game. With our first game, Monster Highway, you roll 2 die, and then you kind of resolve the results, and then that's what you did. Not that was a bad thing. People liked it. You know, just roll the die. I do this. Okay, do your thing. Next turn. But we decided we really wanted to explore giving a lot more options and maybe have a little more strategy infused in it. And I feel like we really did that, because it's more than just kind of moving your sheep on the tile. There's so much you can do once you get to know what the cards do. They can really be strung together. There's certain cards that work well with others. So if you plan it right, you can move some sheep, and then those sheep can immediately move into your barn, even if you don't find your barn in the actual field. So we've seen games turn around where somebody was losing the entire game, and their very last turn, they were able to string together 4 cards, you know, get 4 sheep in, stealing sheep from other people, and then they end up winning. So you're never really out of the game, even if you're losing, which kind of happens to me a lot at the end. And then, you know, sometimes I can win, even though I'm losing the entire game. So I'm pretty proud about that aspect.
Well, that's pretty cool. That's awesome. Now, did you see a lot of crossover of people from Monster Highway coming back to back this one?
Yeah, actually, we were pleasantly surprised with that. Yeah, when we started seeing the names come across, because we had recently, you know, just actually shipped all the copies out to Monster Highway to our backers. So the names of all of our backers were relatively fresh in our heads. So as you know, we're getting the notifications through Kickstarter of the backers coming in. We're like, oh well, there was a Monster Highway backer. So yeah, we were really pleased with all the comments that we were getting from Monster Highway, saying like, oh, we've been enjoying the game. It's been getting to the table a lot, and we'll back you guys in the future for whatever you guys put out. We really are happy with the games you guys are getting out there. So that was really cool. It's very humbling, when you start seeing that again, because you feel that you've kind of put together a good product and it's been received well.
Yeah, that's always good to hear. Now, when it comes to Sheep Boom Ba, what makes your game pop as one my audience should go check out, and if they like what they see, back it?
Yeah, I could say, like, if they're into like a fast-paced game, like I said, it plays in 20 minutes, even for 4 players. It's a great experience. It's different. If you're into tiles, if you like sheeples, which have been a big hit amongst everybody, the little wooden sheeple bits, they're great. The artwork is great. If anyone's familiar, Alicia Volkman did all of our artwork for it. So she did all of our artwork for Monster Highway. So we brought her back for this project and been really happy with it. All the cards, there's like fantastic artwork on it and a lot of good sheep puns, so it's just a fun all around game.
It's a great game to kind of start your game day out. So if you're looking for that game that you just want to get warmed up and get everybody involved, or just That's sure fact. Just get everybody involved, even if they're not gamers. Anybody can sit down and play Sheep and Ba and have fun with it, because really it's just going to take a few minutes to teach it. And a couple rounds, everyone's got the hang of it. And by the second or third round, you're laughing and having a great time. Just, from what we've seen too, from playtesting, people we've never met, just having a great time.
Well, there you go. Yeah, and we'll make sure we leave links in the show notes. But yeah, I really do like the art, especially the hippie sheep is my favorite, looking at the cards that they have on there.
The wild wool, yeah.
So there you go. But yeah, it looks really awesome. And like I said, we'll leave all the links in the show notes so people can come on over and check out Sheep Boom Ba. It looks like it'll be on Kickstarter through Tuesday, the 5th of March. So they go ahead and back this, and so you don't overpromise and underdeliver. When would they be able to get Sheep Boom Ba? Are you anticipating?
We're shooting for October. It could be a little bit sooner since we're working with the same manufacturer that we used for Monster Highway. So we have, everything in place with them. We're actually meeting with them to go over all the specifics of it this weekend, actually at the New York Toy Fair. And like I said, the artwork's pretty much finalized, pending maybe just a few edits, but everything's pretty much ready to rock and roll. So we're anticipating, October, and hoping for actually a little earlier, like maybe September.
Well, there you go. Awesome. Now, minus coming there to your hometown to stalk you, how would people go about keeping up with you and everything you guys have going over there at One Day West Games?
Yeah, you can, we have our website, onedaywestgames.com, or you can follow us on social media, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at One Day West Games. We're very active on there, posting pretty much every day, some updates and, what's going on with the company.
Awesome, and we'll make sure we leave those links in the show notes as well. Speaking of what you have coming up next, I know we're focused on Sheep Boom Ba and getting it funded and everything, but is there anything in your back pocket that you might be working on for later on?
Sure. Yeah, we actually have 2 games we're kind of developing simultaneously right now. We have another fun, playful game that we're working on, and then also we're actually working on a 2-player abstract game right now, which is in the chess realm. We're calling it's a Canosa is the name of it.
So no sheeps or monsters?
No, not in Canosa. Maybe in the other one. I believe we can name it now, right?
Yeah, it's
going to be called Maze Craze. So that's still in development. I'm sure there's something catastrophic is going to happen within the maze. We haven't quite determined specifics yet.
That we could speak of,
right? But
oh boy. Okay, well, there's a teaser for them. So, yeah, we don't want to keep you guys all night, but we really appreciate you coming on Getting Geeky with Game Relief with us to talk all about Sheep Boom Ba. Really quickly, is there a way they can get your CD as well or check out your music?
Sure. Actually, on YouTube, all of our music is on there. Like I said, our band is called One Day West. So if you go on YouTube and type in One Day West, and we also have a Facebook page too for One Day West.
Okay, so we'll go ahead and leave links in the show notes for that as well. But like I said, we don't want to keep you all night, but we really appreciate you coming on to talk all about Sheep Boom Ba with us today.
Yeah, thank you so much for having us on. This was great.
Yeah, really appreciate it. Yeah, thanks so much.
I'm so glad y'all stuck with me through the whole show. I'm really excited about Sheep Boom Ba. It sounds like a must-have, especially if you're not opposed to exploding sheep in minefields, which I'm not. So head on over and check out their campaign on Kickstarter, and let's make this game a reality together. Speaking of things we'd like to see become realities, did you hear what I'm working on? Well, we're going to be coming out with an e-zine or magazine, not one of those RPG ones that are invading Kickstarter as of late. No, this is going to be a zine dedicated to tabletop board gaming of all shapes and sizes. You can help us make it even better by filling out a simple survey, accessible via my website, gamerleafgo.com, under Surveys. You could win one of 4 Miniature Market gift cards, so run on over there right now. Also, we love your support on Kickstarter, so we can make this show even better for you. Click the link. It's now our least favorite time, yours as well. So, until we see you next time, make sure you get geeky, stay geeky, and bring others in the geek fold. And we'll catch you guys on the flip side. Game Relief out.
levels up. Tune in next week to see if Gamer Leaf's luck holds up.